Welcome again to our session on natural language processing application in financial trading and investment. So this is a workshop from the series of workshops we started working on uh, in the month of January. This is the 15th session actually. This is the 15th session, and tomorrow will be the 16th. So I welcome you. My name is Abubakar San Ali. I will be your guide through the workshop. For the sake of yeah, so this is the disclaimer. So what we're going to learn today is basically for educational purposes and not a financial advice. For those who are seeking for a financial advice, we highly recommend that you go and consult an expert financial advisor. So what's going to be our agenda for the day? We will start with introduction. We will look at the overview and fundamentals of AI and machine learning. Then we will look at natural language processing. After that, we will look at how to develop a trading strategy with AI based on natural language processing. We will look at a framework that anybody can follow to build a trading bot. Then we will open the floor for a Q&A, after which we will discuss some of the next steps the attendees can follow in order to leverage what we've learned in the session. Lastly, we will discuss how to build, and I will show you how to build a bot, a trading bot. Okay, and then we will close the session. So, welcome once again, and I hope you will be able to benefit from the session. My name is Abubakar Sana Ali, and I am a PhD holder in electrical engineering and computer science. I specialize in building and developing AI-powered systems. I have been in the field of education for over a decade, and the host institution is called Asataura Services, that is based in the UAE. We provide services such as consultancy in the field of AI, IoT, and cybersecurity. We also provide training and workshops as well as do research and development works and projects. So that's a little bit about us, but the main thing is what are you going to get out of the workshop today? First of all, I hope that by the end of this workshop, you will have a basic idea of what machine learning is and how it can be used in the context of trading and investing. After that, I will also show you some of the use cases, some real world case studies of how AI has been used in this context and in this area. Lastly, we will see how we can build a trading bot that is going to employ natural language processing techniques in order to execute and uh, enter rates up. So these are the three main workshop goals for today, and I hope by the end of the sessions you will be able to have a very good grasp of these concepts. So starting with machine learning and AI. AI, or artificial intelligence, is the process whereby we try to simulate the human intelligence. Okay, we want to see how our computers and machines can try to emulate us humans, so that they can be executing operations just like we will be executing those operations or tasks. Machine learning, on the other hand, is a subset of AI, meaning that AI has different fields under it. Those fields come in different shapes, and machine learning is one of those fields. And in machine learning, what we want is to have computers learn from data without us having to sit down and explicitly program them. What we are saying is, if we have some historical data and we pass it, or we provide this data to a machine learning algorithm, then we are trying to we hope that the algorithm will be able to learn some pattern from the data. That's why sometimes machine learning is called pattern recognition. So if you come across the name pattern recognition systems, It's also talking about machine learning. So when you have data, you try to recognize some pattern that is embedded in the data. That is also called machine learning. And the algorithms, these are like the teaching methodologies. If you like learning is a part of the process, then algorithms are those teaching methodologies. How do we impact the knowledge? How is the machine going to learn? Okay, so the step by steps that are followed by the machine in the learning process are the algorithms, and you have the neural networks. Okay, these are also some key concepts you will be hearing. Mostly when we talk about neural networks in the context of AI, we are mostly talking about deep learning. And these deep learning algorithms are what are powering all the complex and uh, these big systems. For example, ChatGPT, Google Bard, all these systems are powered by deep learning algorithms. And these algorithms are based on neural networks. Neural networks are systems that were developed to mimic or emulate how the human brain works. So if you have an idea of, let's say, the brain functionality, you can also see how neural networks operate, and you can see the similarity between the two. And the reason why neural networks are so powerful is because they emulate the human system, human brain, and humans are very good when it comes to pattern recognition. So for that reason, these systems also tend to give us outstanding performance when it comes to learning from data. Data analysis is something you also hear. If you have data, how do you analyze this data? How do you make sense of the data? Okay, so all this comes under AI and machine learning. In the context of finance, AI has been used for different types of applications. It has been used for fraud detection, okay, by banking industry, for algorithmic trading. This is for those finance, industries where you have the quantitative analyst. So these quantitative analysts, they sit down in front of a computer, they crunch huge amounts of data, come up with different algorithms, and using this, they try to uh, make trades in the market by hoping to make some money out of the market. Okay. Also, the customer service optimization. This has been used in different sectors, not just the finance sector. So every sector they have they are now deploying and employing AI to provide customer service. So you can have an interaction with a chatbot. Maybe you are trying to access maybe you went to the hospital and you want to book an appointment. You can do that via a chatbot or via a speech bot. So all this happens. Okay, so not just the financial sector, but of course the banks use it a lot to be able to address customer issues effectively. When it comes to machine learning, now that we've seen how it is used, then we should understand when to use it, right? Because we just don't like to throw solutions out there that are not fitting. We have to make sure that if we are proposing a particular solution, then it should be able to do the job. Okay. So machine learning comes in three shapes, three different shapes. We have supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. The supervised learning approaches, these are the type of machine learning techniques where you have a supervisor that tries to explain or show or lead by example. Okay. For example, I always give this as an example. You want to teach, let's say, your sibling how to identify objects. Okay. And you decide to go and purchase some images in the mall, okay, or supermarket, and you come home. These are books with images and their name. So you show the kid, okay, this is an image of a dog, this is an image of a cat. By doing this, the child is able to learn how a dog looks like, how a cat looks like. Okay. So this kind of approach where you have some data and then you have the label. Okay, you have the name of each data or sample. Is called supervised learning, and it comes in two shapes also. If what you are trying to teach the kid is how to make a prediction of a continuous number, we call this a regression problem. For example, let's say you are trying to teach the kid how to, let's say, count, okay, or how to do summation or arithmetic, So 2 apples plus 2 apples equals to what? 4 apples, something like this. So the idea is trying to give a prediction of a number. So this kind of problem is regression. And in the financial market, when we are trying to predict price of a stock in the next hour, next minute, next month, next day, this kind of problem is a regression problem. We are trying to predict a numerical value. However, if what you are trying to teach the kid is how to categorize elements or objects, okay? As I said, let's say you have these images of animals and you want the kid to be able to identify that this is a dog, this is a cat, and stuff like that. Then this kind of problem is a classification problem. And in the context of financial sector, this kind of issue could be related to, let's say, a good trade, bad trade. So when you see some properties, you can tell whether this trade is a good trade or this trade is a bad trade. Is this a good signal or a bad signal? A signal is what tells you that a trading opportunity is spotted. So you have this trading opportunity and you want to know whether it is a good one or a bad one. Okay, so this could be a classification problem. However, in the case of unsupervised learning, you have the data, but you don't have the label, you don't have the target, you don't have the answer. Okay, it's like teaching kids mathematics. You provide all these algebraic equations and their solution, but the answer is hidden. Okay, you show them how to solve it, but there is no answer. Okay, so this could be examples without answers. So whether they solve it, if they are correct or wrong, they might not know. They only see things. And this happens too, like if you have this kid and you want to show him how to identify animals, for example, and just all you do is to provide the images without the names. No names, and you haven't told him this is the name of this animal, this is the name of that animal. Only the data, only the images. So all the kid can learn maybe from this is to say, okay, these animals look the same. Therefore, I will put them together. These animals too look the same. I will put them together. So this is a clustering problem. Okay, and this is something you can do in that particular data set. Reinforcement learning, on the other hand, is different from the previous two. At least unsupervised learning has some samples, only that it is lacking the data, the target, the label, or the value. Supervised has both the samples as well as their corresponding values. For the case of reinforcement learning, the learning takes place by trial and error. So something happens, you go and try it out, then you get a feedback, okay, and then you try again, get a feedback. By doing this process over and over again, you try to learn. It's like going to the market, the financial market, with your money. All you know is just to go and enter. You know how to enter a trade, but you have no idea why you should enter the trade. Okay, what is your signal for entering the trade? Are you just entering or not? This is all you know. So that's what you did. You just went with your pocket full of money and you went there, doing buying and selling, buying and selling. At the end of the day, you check your account balance and you are zero. You have lost it all in the market. But the good thing is you are recording all the events that happened that made you bought a particular asset or sold a particular asset. You record everything down. So when you go home, you have this penalty, or because you have lost your money, you are bitter. You sit down and look at your history, try to figure out why things went wrong, so that tomorrow when you go back to the market, you should be able to perform better than you did today. And when you go back to the market tomorrow, you try to start to figure out, okay, yeah, yesterday something happened this way and I made a purchase that turned out to be very bad purchase. So today let me do it another way. So this way of learning is a reinforcement learning approach. And we have different types of techniques here as well that you can use to build and integrate it into financial trading and investing. Uh, in the previous sessions we have discussed how each and every one of these classes or categories of machine learning can be used, and we have shown in a live demo how this can be done. We have demonstrated how to build a trading bot that utilizes each of these. But today we are going to look at what? Natural language processing. Natural language processing is the process or is a branch of AI where we try to have computers read or understand, interpret, and manipulate human language. Okay? You provide it with a text, it understands what the text is all about, and it gives you a response, contextual response, a response that makes sense. Okay, a logical response. So this kind of techniques, they could be either powered by some AI techniques or some machine learning based techniques. Okay, they come in different shapes. If they are powered, if their core or their engine is a neural network, okay, so this you can call them like machine learning based natural language processing. But there are other schemes out there, okay, that utilize or that are built statistical tools and what have you, that they will, these are the initial studies that were done in this regard, okay, before the neural networks become the mainstream. There are so many techniques out there that have been employed in the context of natural language processing. And some of the tasks you can accomplish with natural language processing include text translation. You can provide a text in English and you tell this system to translate it in Portuguese, in French, in Spanish, in Arabic, you know. This is one of the tasks. Another task is sentiment analysis. You can provide a huge list of news articles and you tell it to provide you with a sentiment of each article. Is this article good? Okay, is it the sentiment of this article? Is it positive? Are people happy when they are writing this article? Is the author happy or trying to narrate a happy event, a positive event, or no, or it is just a neutral event, you know? So you can have these systems to do this for you. Speech recognition, if you have used Cortana, Alexa, and Siri, you know how powerful they are now, especially since 2012, I think, when Jeffrey Hinton, when his student developed the first, I don't remember the name of the student, but they were the first people who developed the deep learning based uh, speech recognition system. And from there on, they switched from all those previous systems into the neural network powered speech recognition systems. In the case of finance, they use it in different ways, especially if you have huge financial reports, data. Let's say you are an analyst, okay, in an investment bank, okay, you are working in a hedge fund, whatever. So all you do every day mostly is to sit and analyze financial reports, look at the market news, check social media to understand what's going on. So if you have these systems, they can help you maybe make your life a lot easier, you know. They can read a lot faster than you, make analysis a lot faster than you know, and even come up with summary for you to just have the key takeaways. Not only that, if you are using it for, let's say, sentiment analysis, like most of the big guys in Wall Street do, they try to make a prediction on the direction of the market based on the sentiment of the people. So they know, because the market is nothing but the emotions of people. So if people are happy, the market continues to go up. If people are not happy, then you have the reverse effect. So when you have news that can make people happy, it is expected that this news will make the market to go up. For that reason, if you can have a system that can understand the sentiment and analyze it of news articles, it will make your life a lot easier in the context of predicting where the market direction is going to be next. And they use it a lot in the Wall Street, different big guys there do it. Okay, so some of the case studies that you will come across include those the sentiment analyzer by the Renaissance Technologies. This is one of the hedge funds in Wall Street that is notorious, okay, when it comes to quantitative trading. They are known for that, okay. After all, the founder, Jim Simons, is a mathematics professor. He decided to go into trading. I think one day, one of his students came to visit him in the faculty, and he was telling him the amount of money he was making in the final, in the financial sector in Wall Street, in millions of dollars. So he decided, maybe he should leave the classroom and join the financial market as well. And he did that. He gathered all these big guys in the mathematics, statistics, physics world, put them together, tell them this is what we are going to do. And now he is holding the crown, right? He is called the most profitable trader in history. He made billions of dollars. I think he is worth around $20 billion now. Yeah. And he only did that, I think, for 14 years like that. So they were very notorious when it comes to using these technicalities, sentiment analysis, statistics, AI, machine learning, and stuff like that. BlackRock, this is the biggest hedge fund. Like every company will see that BlackRock owns a share in that company. So they are like octopuses, They have their tentacles all over the world. Citadel, Charles Schwab, JP Morgan, all these are big guys when it comes to Wall Street. Very popular names, and they have been investing heavily in AI, in natural language processing, and in algorithmic trading, as well as quantitative analysis. Okay, so in a nutshell, we can understand that machine learning has and AI have a lot of application in the financial sector. Okay, and one of the things that we can say is that it allows us to enhance the prediction accuracy. So when you make a prediction, maybe you use a small amount of data to come up with your own prediction. However, if you have these AI systems, okay, they can help you crunch a huge or large data set. Some data sets even are complex. The patterns and trends are hidden. You can't actually be able to understand the patterns at all, if you are the one to sit and analyze them. But if you have these tools, they can do that on your behalf. All right. So in the context of algorithmic trading, AI, machine learning, natural language processing, these are big systems that are well used. Okay. So this is just an overview. As I said, the recordings are always provided. We have had multiple sessions. This is the 15th session in this month. Okay, we plan to have 16 of them. So tomorrow will be the last session. So all these sessions have been recorded and have been uploaded on YouTube as well as our learning platform. So if you are interested in going over the previous sessions, I will encourage you to check those there. Okay, before I move on to now how these concepts of natural language processing and AI can be translated into building a trading strategy, I will open the floor for Q&A. If there is any question, you can send it in the chat, or you can even unmute. Okay, you can even unmute if you have any question. If there is no question, then we move on to seeing how this is done. Okay, how this is done in the real market. Okay, I assume there are no questions. All right, so let's move to the next part, which is building a trading bot, the framework, how a trading bot is built. When it comes to trading, there are always three things involved. There are always three components. The first component is the strategy, the psychology, and the management. These are the three components. Okay. It doesn't matter whether you are in the financial market or not, as long as you are engaging in trading. you are buying and selling stocks, you always have a strategy that allows you to buy. Okay, some people, their strategy is simple. Once I have money, I'm going to spend it. What should I spend it on? No plan. I will just go to the maybe mall, and until when I see that I've emptied my money, I've emptied my account, that's when I will leave. That's their strategy. And some people also do the same with the financial market. They get their money, maybe their savings or their pay, and they just go and start to buy and sell stocks in the financial market without any idea why they are doing that. So, if you really want to be profitable, whether you are trading in the financial market or in the traditional market, you should always have a strategy. First of all, what type of commodity do you want to buy? All right. And then, if you find a commodity which you want to buy, how will you tell whether the price that you are offered is a good price or not? How will you now sell it? If you sell it, how are you going to make money out of the trade? So these are all the ways, these are the strategies. And we will see this also in the context of financial trading on investment. How is a strategy built? Psychology is all about your emotional state. Are you ecstatic when you receive your money that you don't realize what happened once you get your paycheck? The only thing that always bothers you is to see that you've spent the money. So that's your own psychological state at that point in time. Some people are very greedy, for example, when they go to buy stock, okay, they buy it with the hope of selling it at a higher price. Maybe when that uh, item has gone up in terms of the price in the market, they still want to hold on to that. Until, okay, sorry guys. Okay, sorry about that. It was fire alarm. Okay, so the psychology part I was talking about here, you're talking about the emotional state when you are going to make a purchase or when you're going to trade. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you going out for a revenge? Maybe the market has done you one and you want to pay it back. So you want to get your revenge. Oh, are you hopeful? Maybe yesterday you didn't make money and you still have your money there. You just want to return your money and make more money. So you don't want to get out of the market. We have the management part. This is how you manage your money. Are you going to blow it off, all of it, or are you going to retain some part? When you see an opportunity, are you going to use all your money to buy into that opportunity, or are you going to use just a portion of that? Okay. So this is about management. We have algorithmic trading. So now that you have seen all these three components, you can have this happening, okay, manually, or you can automate everything so that everything becomes everything now will be handled by the system, by the computer. You do not have to be the one doing things manually. And that is where algorithmic trading comes, where you put in steps by steps, put everything in written code, executable code, and that will be able to help you determine when is the best time to buy, at what price is the best price to buy, what is the quantity to buy. Okay. The main thing is it helps to reduce the impact of human emotions when trading. Okay. So some of the benefits of trading, okay, using these bots or algorithmic approach is the speed and efficiency they bring to the table. You can't be the only you can't beat a computer when it comes to speed. Computers are faster. And it of course in terms of efficiency as well. Consistency and discipline. Like you can't compete with them in this regard as well. They are so disciplined to the extent that if you tell them, that's why we call them give machines, garbage in, garbage out. So whatever you tell them, that's exactly what they will do. So if you give them a good strategy, they are going to follow that strategy, okay, without deviating from it. Risk management is improved if you use this because If you are the only one managing your trades, there is a likelihood you will become biased. There is that likelihood you will make wrong decisions because of your emotional state. So with the bots, this is handled. Backtesting capabilities allows you to test your strategy using historical data. Okay, so if you have historical data and you have your strategy automated, you can just try it out in that context and see how far or how good your strategy is. It's something we humans cannot do because we don't have that capability of going back in time. But this trading bots can do that. Lastly, we have the scalability factor that they bring to the table. As a human being, you are constrained, you have a maximum number of things you can do at a time. But when it comes to trading with the bots, you can deploy as many of them out there, and each one of them will be working for you day in, day out. So when it comes to building, we have these tools we are going to employ to build. First of all, we have ChatGPT Plus. We will also have Google Colab, Python libraries, the Packer API. Okay. So ChatGPT Plus, we need it because we would like to discuss our strategy. Sometimes, if you are building a strategy, there could be a loophole in the strategy. Okay. And you might not be able to figure it out. That's one thing. Another thing is maybe you are biased. Okay. And this AI, you can brainstorm with it and it will be able to figure out your bias. It will tell you it appears like, this strategy might not be good because of this, and these factors. So it's one good way of, brainstorming your strategy. After you have brainstormed the strategy, you can still use it to be able to generate executable codes for you. Of course, the codes they generate sometimes are lacking or they come with some issues, which you will have to maybe do a lot of work or have a lot of to and fro with this chat GPT. But at the end of the day, they help a lot because they reduce the workload significantly. Google Colab is used to run the Python codes that are generated using ChatGPT Plus. So you have generated codes with ChatGPT Plus. After discussing with it, you got the code with ChatGPT. Now you copy that code and you paste it in Google Colab so that this code can work. Okay, it is free and you can use it. You can collaborate with others. You can use it to backtest your strategies. The Python libraries are like the components that you use when you are writing a programming problem. So when you are writing codes, you can, especially in Python, not even Python, all other programming languages, they come with these libraries, okay? And these libraries, they provide you with functionalities, which otherwise you will have to program them from scratch. But this allow you to simplify your programming process because there are so many steps that are similar. Like many people do the same thing over and over again. So instead of doing everything over and over again from scratch all the time, why not put things in packages so that all you have to do is to come and give it your own, requirements and it gives you the result. So it's like how McDonald's is doing their stuff. They package all their processes and then if you are somebody who wants to be a franchiser, you just go and they give you the franchise and you set up your McDonald's and McDonald's will test the same, they will operate the same wherever they are. So this is the library tools. This includes pandas. Pandas allows us to do data analysis and manipulation. We are dealing with data, we want to analyze the data, use pandas. NumPy allows you to do numerical computations and operations. So you want to do addition, subtraction, multiplication. NumPy is at your aid. Matplot library allows you to generate visualizations of your data because they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if you have Matplot library, you can generate very nice visualizations that can convey the information hidden within the data that you couldn't even tell from via visual inspection of the data. But once you have these charts, you can be able to start seeing some patterns which could have been difficult for you to identify if you are just looking at the raw data. Yahoo Finance allows us to access financial information, the market information, okay, live information. TA Library gives you access to these technical indicators for those who are into trading. Technical indicators are used significantly when deciding when to buy, how to buy, where to buy. Scikit-learn is for machine learning. So if you want to do any kind of machine learning operation, you can go and use scikit-learn and it will make your life a lot easier. TensorFlow is for deep learning. Similarly, PyTorch is for deep learning, but TensorFlow was developed by Google and PyTorch was developed by uh, Facebook engineers. News API allows us to have access to the news. Why do we have News API here? Is because we are doing natural language processing. So we would like to access the news so that we will know whether we are going to make trades based on the news articles that we have access. Natural Language Toolkit, NLTK. This allows us to do lots of natural language processing, tasks. For example, text summarization, which I talked to you earlier. So you can have these tools, give it a huge text, a huge paragraph, and these tools can be able to summarize that text for you. Okay, language translation. Another problem, you give it a paragraph in a language and you tell it to translate this language for you. Sentiment analysis, you give it a sentiment, give it an article, you give it a paragraph, and you tell it tell you what the sentiment of that paragraph is. So this natural language toolkit will allow you to do all that. OpenAI, they come with different they come with lots of functionalities and features. Okay, they come with, let's say, we have the stable baselines. These are for enforcement learning. OpenAI also brings for us OpenAI Gym, also for enforcement learning. They have provided all these large language models that you can use for natural language processing. Even the chat GPT we are going to use, you can also use OpenAI to have access to those. So these are all libraries that make your life a lot easy and a lot easier if you are trying to code in Python. So now, putting things in context, we started with ChatGPT, where we discussed our strategy. Once we realized our strategy makes a lot of sense, and the ChatGPT also gives us the confirmation that our strategy is logical, we then convert it. We tell it to help us convert the strategy into executable codes. We copy the codes that we get from ChatGPT, go to Google Colab, and paste these codes. But for this codes to work, because ChatGPT knows of the presence of those libraries, so ChatGPT is also going to utilize those Python libraries when generating the code. For that reason, we need those Python codes to be installed in Google Colab so that when we run the code, it will run without issues. All right. So now we are happy. We got our strategy. We got it, executed it. Everything is working. We tested it. Everything is working. The strategy is as we have in mind. So the next thing is to say, okay, let's connect it to the real market so that things will be happening in real time. In the real market, let's make money. That's our objective in the first place. Okay, and to do that, you need to have a brokerage account. You can't just access the market without a broker. These brokers give you access to the market. Okay, so what happens is you have a broker, you go to them, you register an account with them, then they give you an account that you can use to buy and sell in the financial market. Okay, the accounts come in two shapes, two types. You have a live account. This one you put your money, live money. You have a paper trading account. This they give you a simulation money. They call it paper money, fake money, because they don't want you maybe to waste your money or lose your money at a go. So you are allowed to try things out, test things out before you dive into the real market and put your money at stake. Okay. The API is the bridge that connects the code with the brokerage account, so that if you execute your code, it will be able to manifest in the brokerage account. Okay, so that's the Alpaca API. So these are the tools we are going to use: ChatGPT, Google Colab, and so libraries as well as the Alpaca API. When it comes to now building any strategy has three things that it should come with. The first thing is the signal. The signal indicates when to buy. Okay, this tells you about a trading opportunity. Is there an opportunity? Yes. Then buy in or sell. Okay, or hold. This is the signal. The other type, once you realize you have an opportunity and you want to buy into that opportunity, you need to make a decision when to buy, right? Are you going to buy immediately or are you going to wait for a while? Maybe till something happens. So if you are going to buy immediately, we call that type of order market order. If you are going to wait, we call that type of order either limit or stop, depending on what you are waiting for. If you are waiting for prices to improve, maybe come down if you are buying, then we call this a limit order because you want to increase the margin of your winning. Or if you are just waiting for the price to go in the direction of your prediction, maybe prices are, let's say, are down, people, uh, the price is falling, but you are predicting that it is going to bounce back. Okay, so you don't want to buy while the price is falling. You are waiting till when it bounces back, till when the trend reverses. So once it bounces back and it reaches a certain level, okay, yes, as I said, I know this thing is going to bounce back and it has bounced back. It has even reached this level. So this is when I am going to buy. Okay. So mostly you use stop order when your strategy is what we call a reversal. So when you are trading using reversal techniques, these are techniques that change the trend of the current, you know, current trend. Maybe you are going down, and the trend reverses to go up. So this we use stop order most of the time. Or it is going up, but you are anticipating it is going to come down, then you can put maybe your stop order waiting for it to start coming down. Okay, because sometimes you don't want to follow the trend. If you follow the trend, you might not be able. What happens if it continues following its trend and it didn't reverse? Okay, so you use stop order. For the limit order is when normally when you are doing trend following, you are trying to follow the trend. If it is falling down, you know it is going to continue falling down. So you just even want it to come up a little so that as it goes, as it keeps going down, you make more money. Okay. Or if you are buying, now it is going up, up, up. So you don't want to even buy. You want to wait till it drops a little because it happens like that. The market follows this Elliott wave. Things happen like this. Buy, sell. You know, the emotions of people. We are not always happy. Sometimes we are angry, sometimes we are sad. So that's how the market also operates, up and down, up and down. So you are waiting for that time when it will not be happy once, so that you can be able to maximize your profit. You have the risk management. This is the part where you decide how to get out of the trade. You already bought in and you want to decide, should I get out now or should I wait till another time? Okay, then what are you waiting for? You have to indicate, I'm waiting for the price to reach a certain level before I get out. Okay, that's your take profit. So if it is, of course, be going according to your prediction, or I'm waiting so that the price comes down to a certain level which I cannot anymore fear the loss anymore, then that's your stop loss. Once it reaches that level, you will just decide, what, I'm going to sell and get out of the trade. The important thing also is the position size analysis. Very important. You want to be able to have an idea of the portion of your account you decide to dedicate to that particular trade. Are you going to put all your money into the trade, all your eggs in one basket, or are you going to separate and have diversification? So when it comes to sentiment analysis, our strategy is very simple. Mostly, okay, it is used with another strategy. So it is mostly a supporting strategy. But for example, if we to say we're going to use it alone, so what we want is we are going to go long if the sentiment is positive. Okay. So let's say we are looking at, let's say, Tesla, right? We are looking at Tesla. So we want to buy Tesla if people are happy about Tesla. Okay, and we want to short Tesla, meaning we go to the broker, borrow some stocks because we know Tesla is going to lose value. So we borrow some stock, sell it at the current market price, wait till it lose the value we anticipated, then buy back from the market and return them borrowed ones to the broker. Okay? So this is if the sentiment is negative. So people are not happy with, let's say, Tesla or Apple. Okay? So this is sentiment analysis. This is how it is used in the context of uh yeah, in the financial trading and investing. Okay? You can sometimes just hold if the sentiment is neutral. Okay? So you don't want to buy or sell because people are not happy or sad about it. Okay? So you just want to hold if you have not yet purchased, or you want to hold your money, or you want to hold your positions that you've already purchased. So if you haven't bought any, you don't want to buy. If you have bought, you don't want to get out of the trade or buy more or sell more. You just want to stay put. So how is the logic going to be? The logic going to have three components or four scenarios. The first scenario is we have no position. That is to say, for example, we have not purchased that particular Tesla or that particular asset. So no position, and the sentiment is positive. Okay. So if this is the scenario where we find ourselves, then we are going to go long without any hesitation. If we also have no position and the sentiment is negative, then we are going to go short. Okay. However, if we are in position, we already bought. So if we are in position, okay, and the sentiment is either positive or negative, we are already in the position. Is similar. Okay, let me use similar. Is similar to the previous. Okay, what happened to my pen? Okay, it's similar to the previous sentiment. Okay, then in this case, we are going to maintain. Okay, the last scenario is if, for example, if the sentiment reverses. Okay, if the sentiment reverses, then we will exit. Okay, we will exit the trade. Okay, so these are the four scenarios that we want to keep in mind as our logic. For the order type, we would like to execute the market order, meaning that we will buy and sell immediately with spot and opportunity. Okay, the risk management, we would like to use 2% maximum as our position sizing. We don't want to go above 2%. If we have 100,000, we don't want to put more than 2,000. We want to have our risk to reward ratio as what? 2. Okay, our RRR should be 1:2 maximum. Okay, minimum. So meaning that at least we are hoping if we are going to lose $200, then we are hoping to make what? To make $400. Okay, so that's our plan. That's what we want to achieve in this regard. All right, so this is the logic this is the strategy which we have just finished discussing. It has the logic part, which we discussed, the other part, which we discussed, and the risk management part, which we discussed. So with this now, the next thing is to discuss this strategy with ChatGPT to know whether the strategy, first of all, makes sense, if it is missing anything, if there is any loophole. Okay, so that's the first thing you would like to do. Right. After you are done with this, you would like to now set up your environment. Okay, so you would like to set up your Alpaca, you would like to set up your Google Colab. Once you have all this ready, you would like to test the sentiment analysis process. Okay, look at the sentiment, get some news, try out the sentiment, see what happens. If you see the sentiment analysis process is working, that your tool is working, is giving you the sentiment, you are happy, then you can be able to take trades. Test it happy. If it is happy, okay, then you try to test the connection to the market. Okay, you test the trade and you then automate the trade. Okay, all of these steps are interchangeable. Of course, only the last one has to stay. Okay, but you can start, let's say, with environment setup. Okay, then you build the strategy, then you do the sentiment analysis, then you test the strategy, then you test the market connection, and then finally you automate. So maybe in my previous sessions, you will see I will start with environment setup before I do the strategy building. That's because I already know what I want to do. Since I already know that, okay, I want to use, let's say, sentiment analysis. These are the specific Python libraries I need. So I will just go ahead and set up my environment. Then I will come and discuss my strategy to ChatGPT Plus. So it doesn't matter. Okay, sometimes I even do the testing connection in this step, just to make sure after I set up the environment, I test the connection to make sure things are working. Then I build the strategy. But this has to come before you test. You have to finish all of this. For example, one, two, three have to be completed before you test the strategy. You have to finish building the strategy, setting up the environment, testing the sentiment analysis before you test. So once you test the strategy, you can now do the connection setup with the real market. You can do the connection setup even at the beginning, just to make sure things are working. You know, of course, you have to set up the environment to do that. So, as I said, the order doesn't matter, but what really has to be there is the steps have to be there. All of them have to be there. You have to have all these 6 steps. Okay, so we are here in the Q&A before we move and start developing the strategy or show you a demo. So if you have any question, you can ask. No question? All right, no question. Okay, so how to get resources? So for those who want to get resources, as I said, you can always go to our app. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, so this is our app. This is our learning center, learning platform. We provide it for students. You can just log out if you want. Okay, this is the home page. Okay, when you put asatacademy.ai, it will take you to the login page. You can just log in. You put your, okay, if you have registered, then if not, then go for start for free, where you can sign up and start. Okay, I've already registered. For example, I can put my email address, password. Okay, so the workshops are here. So wherever, maybe we could change the UI, the user interface later. So just try to find it out. Workshops, find them. You will see the workshops, begin lessons. All right. So these are all our previous sessions. All of them have been uploaded up to the session yesterday. Everything has been uploaded. You can go and watch any of the videos, for example. You can go to the first or the second one, for example, and you will have the session recording. So you can watch the session recording, okay? And you can download the resources, which will provide you with the code as well as everything else, the code I have, even the prompt I am using, and whatever you need. You have it there. You can now open them and follow along all the steps I will implement in the implementation. Okay, so the app is free for you to use. You can go back and I hope you are able to access it. Okay, so that's the first thing for those who want to have access to the tools. The YouTube channel as well, can just go to Attack Academy on YouTube and you should be able to have access to those recordings as well. Okay, so what's next? Well, we are almost at the last workshop, which is going to be tomorrow, the last day for the workshops. We have had several workshops in the previous week, all of them talking about a different aspect of using AI in the context of financial trading and investing. So tomorrow will be the last workshop of this AI in finance series. All right. So for those who need an additional assistance in terms of guidance, we can talk. Project development. Some have projects they want to develop, can do that. Research study as well. We have some research work in this context of AI application or AI powered systems, AI powered financial systems. We can work on that. You want trading, we can also help you understand things and also implement things. Okay, so this is the code for the one-on-one free 30 minutes consultation. You can just copy it and you should be able to book a meeting with me or a one-on-one without having to pay for it. Okay, so let's go to the live demonstration. All right, so let me set up these things. All right, so these are the tools we use. We have 3 tools. All other tools you can access them separately. You can sign up, you can sign in if you have access to those tools, and you can utilize those tools. For example, news API tool, you can use it as well as what have you. So yeah. All right. So starting from the first, okay. I I didn't follow, this structure where I start with building the strategy. I started with my environment setup, then I did sentiment analysis, then I came and built the strategy, then tested the market, and test my strategy, trading strategy, and what have you. Okay, so this is how I just followed it. As I said, you don't have to follow them one step at a time, but it's okay and it's good to be consistent sometimes. So this is the first part where I discuss my strategy with ChatGPT. Okay, I started by discussing it. Let's build a simple trading strategy where uh, my strategy is discussed as follows. The objective is to use natural language processing to build a trading strategy. And my logic is as follows. When the latest news sentiment is overwhelmingly positive, and I indicated a parameter called compound. So if this compound value is above zero point 0.5, I assume the latest news is positive, so I am going to buy or go long. Okay. If the sentiment is overwhelmingly negative, that is the compound is minus zero point 0.5, then I'm going to sell. Okay, I'm going to sell. And after each news, I will try to feed it into the model so that it sees the news and it comes up with a prediction. If the prediction is telling us to go long and we are holding no position, so it is telling us buy Apple stock and we are not currently holding any Apple stock, then we buy. Okay, so we are going to enter the position and we will set our TP and stop loss accordingly. All right. If the prediction is to go short, meaning that the sentiment is what is negative, and we are not holding any short position for that stock, we will enter the short position. We will set our TP and stop loss accordingly. If the position, however, is saying go long, and we were already in position, meaning that we already bought Apple, and this time around too, the news article came in. It was also a positive news. So our model is still telling us buy Apple. So we don't want to buy Apple and then buy Apple every time a good news is reported in the media. Okay. So as long as we have already bought into Apple, we are not going to sell. We are not going to buy again. We'll just wait. Okay. That's why I'm saying just maintain the current position and just adjust things accordingly. Okay. The next is in the case, okay, there is that event where the prediction is opposite. So things have reversed. People are no longer happy with Apple stock. This indicates the reversal. We are going to exit the trade. Okay. So this is my trading logic, which I discussed earlier. I discussed this and I told it the market order type is, the order type is market order. So the moment this thing gives me the natural language processing machine gives me the signal, I'm going to buy immediately. Okay. And my risk management. How do I intend to manage my risk? First of all, there is the initial capital, I assume of what, $10,000, and I don't want to put more than 2% of the current account balance per trade. Okay, so 2%. Let's say 2% of 10,000, that's $200. So I don't want to invest more than $200 per that trade. And I'm hoping to get a minimum. That is, if I'm going to lose 200 in the event that I'm wrong, then I'm hoping I will have made 400 in that trade. That's the minimum I was hoping to make. Of course, I will be a lot happier if I make two times or three times or four times what I was, willing to lose. If I was willing to lose, let's say 200, and I ended up making 1,000, you know, amazing. So that is my way of managing my account so that I don't lose my money. And I told it to let me know if you understand this before we move to the next step. I, I told you it's always good to ask it this so that it tells you if there is a loophole. Okay, there is a blind spot in your strategy, something you couldn't realize. So it can tell you that. So it tells me that it understood it is this. It told me everything based on that. And then it even provided me with some next steps. First of all, it tells me to what build the sentiment analysis model, to test the strategy. After I've tested it, then implement it using Alpaca API, for example. And then after I'm happy with the implementation, everything is working, I can go into live, you know, run it there to observe its performance. Okay. And these are actually the steps which I highlighted in the framework. Okay. So after that, the next thing is to, let's say, set up the environment, and I already came here and I did that. I have these are the Python libraries I told you about. So we need these Python libraries to have our code running. Okay. So I have it all installed. Okay. So the next step is of course the natural language processing step. If you look at what it told me, okay, the next step it told me to build the sentiment analysis model. Okay. And I actually did that initially. That's where I started with. For me, I started with that. Okay. I said I want to use News API to build a simple, okay, something like that analysis and what have you. So that's what I did. And it gave me this code. Told me to get an API. Even told me the step. The first step is to sign up for News API. Go to News API and sign up for an account. So you go to News API, register, and you will get an API key. This is my API key, which can allow me to access News API and get news, latest news about a particular topic. Okay. So here I said get everything. It tells me to get everything related to Apple. The language is English, and I want it to be sorted according to the date of publication. Okay. And that's what we have here. So it did everything, and it gave us all the things in this all articles. So if you check here, you will see this is the latest article. We have around 615 results, 615 articles. If I was to ask you to sit down and read them, you can imagine the amount of time it is going to take you to finish reading 615 articles. Okay, some of them, uh, as you can see here. All right, so these are the articles. We have the next step is to prepare for the sentiment analysis. It's telling me what to do. Okay, to prepare for the sentiment analysis, and it gave me this course which I did. So it is going to use, you see, it is going to use natural language toolkit, which I discussed as the Python libraries that we require to do things in natural language. And this is for sentiment analysis here. This is the sentiment analyzer. We have it here, and it is initiated. So we have now uh, initiated that. Now we will perform the sentiment analysis. Okay, and this is the code for doing that. So it does all that. You can now analyze the sentiments. Okay, you can get the analysis. So you can see this is an analysis of all the sentiments of the records we see. Some of them you can see. This is the first. Yeah, this is the first article. Verizon lifts as key factor in Outlook, adds fuel to Q4 earnings, bit so on. So the sentiment of this article is neutral. Not good for Apple, not bad for Apple. Very neutral. Warren Buffett said to earn 2 billion from these three stocks. Yeah, what happens if he earns money? By him earning money, does that say anything good or or bad about Apple? Of course not. That's why the sentiment was neutral. Okay, this one too, neutral sentiment. This one as well, neutral. So most of the sentiments are neutral, but this one is overwhelmingly positive. Apple shares are sold by this conversely. Okay, so this is positive. Why I say positive? Because this compound is 65%. And for me, I set a threshold. If the compound is above 50%, I assume the news is positive, and this is a point where I can buy Apple stock. Okay, so this is negative, 12.8% in the negative direction. So people are not happy because of what happens with Private Ocean LLC lowering their stake in Apple. However, it's still not that overwhelmingly negative. It's just 12.8% in the opposite direction. I want at least also minus 50%. Okay. So many positive. You can see this one is overwhelmingly like very high, 0.77, 77%. So these are all the analyzed sentiments, which is amazing. With just one click, all those hundreds of news have been analyzed for me. I'm just sitting here resting, without having to go through so many things. I would like to say that the sentiment analyzer can only take 100 at a time. So if you want to get more than that, you have to be generating more analysis for each 100 articles. Okay, so we are happy with the news and you can see how things are happening. All right, so the next thing is to test, of course, connection with a brokerage account. And to do that, you need a brokerage account, right? So in my case, I was using Alpaca, and you can also register an account with Alpaca. Okay, I registered an account with them. Just go to Alpaca Securities, open an account. Okay, you can see we are making money. Okay, these are our positions. All right, that's good. Some days we did it, this was the portfolio. Sometimes we were losing, like here we lost money, but overall now we are making money. Okay, we have all these dips and ups and downs and what have you. So this is where you will see psychology come into play. Some people they cannot handle at all. They cannot handle a loss. The feeling of a loss. They don't want to experience it. So once they lose the money, they will just go on and sell. They will lose money here. They decide to sell. But if they had been patient, you can see things are going in our own way. Anyways, we didn't use any strategy to buy in and buy out. So these are just when we were demonstrating how things are done. And if you want to do things right by doing it manually, scroll down, you can buy or you can sell a particular asset. All you have to do is to put the symbol of the asset, you know, indicate the type of order you want to do. Market order means to buy immediately. Amount of money we have 100K. We don't want to what? We don't want to lose more than 2%. 2% that is 2,000. Okay, $2,000. So I can go into $2,000 and I will say review order. I will say confirm order. English quantity available. Okay, they don't have. Okay, let's change them. Let's use Amazon. Okay, all right. So can buy for let's say $200. Okay, review order, confirm order. Order has been created. Now come here and you will see this has been filled. Okay, maybe you can see it here. Added. Okay, all right. So this if you are doing it manually, but we want to use our code to be able to access. And to do that, you need API keys. So if you scroll down, you see API keys. All right, they allow you to have access to this platform without having to open it and let things manually. So all you have to do is to come here, generate new API keys if you are just creating an account for the first time. If you have created account and generated API keys before, you will only see two values, endpoint and key. But if it is the first time you are generating, you will see a script. Once you get that three values, please save them in a notepad or in Microsoft Word and then come, okay, have them in store. So what I did was to talk to ChatGPT, tell it that, okay, I want to test connection between, uh, yeah, so where did I tested the strategy first before I tested connection, which is why you see this. Okay, here I see. So I told it I want to test the connection. I want to execute order on Netflix using the API and allow it to run for only 10 seconds, then cancel. So it did this. It told me to replace this with my API keys, which I already obtained. Okay, so I got this and this is it here. Copied everything, replaced with my API keys. Here you can see this is my API key, PK68TU, PK68TU, and so on. Okay, the script that base URL which is this. Okay, so let's see. We can place order for Netflix. Yeah, Netflix. Okay, so we will run this. Order one share submitted. Aha, it's here, Netflix. A few seconds ago, we got Netflix. Wow, this is the cost. 554, and we will close it. They will cancel it for us. Awesome. Okay. So we are happy. Connection set, environment set. We have tested our sentiment analyzer. It is working. Now is how do you integrate these three things, right? Using the news and the sentiment obtained from the news. How do you test the strategy? Okay. So that's what I did here. So I told ChatGPT to help me do that, and it generated code for me. Okay, so I told it, yeah. So the next thing, awesome. Next is to backtest the strategy I described above. Within the model, I want to print the number of times I trade, number of times I go long, number of times I go short, number of times I hold my trades, and so on. Assuming my initial balance was what? $10,000, and I maintain the risk management I discussed, write me the code while recording each day's outcome, evaluate the strategy's profitability, maximum drawdown, win loss ratio, and other relevant matrices. Use this approach so that we can use the path later. Okay, so it gave me a code with so many placeholders. I didn't want to do that, so I told it to break the code down and avoid using placeholders. So it did that. So it gave me a more improved code. Okay. However, when it was giving me the code, I was getting some errors. All I did was to copy the error code, copied it, pasted it, and told it to work on that. So it did that, provided me with solution, which I copied and pasted. However, I would like to mention that even though I have all the code ready, but some of it didn't work. So I had to sit and just edited the code myself. So if you can write some codes, of course, you have no worries. So I had to work on the code. Honestly, I have to make mention of this. I try to keep going to and fro with ChatGPT just so that I stick with our own idea of, you know, trying to avoid writing a code as much as possible. But at the end of the day, I had to just enter accept and write the code. Okay, I think that is on that. So I edited some of the code so that it will work. So based on what I have, let's see this strategy tested. Okay, this is the function for backtesting the strategy. This will analyze my results for me so that I see the total trades, total wins, losses, and what have you. So Yahoo Finance is to allow me to download the data. Okay, so I wanted to get the data, the price data. Okay, some prices. So it will download data for me so that we know the price, close price, and yeah, the interval is 1 minute. I'm using 1 minute interval just for 1 week. Okay, or 3 days actually. This is just 3-day data. So 3 days data of 1 minute. That's around 780 minutes, you know, when the market was open. So these are the values. The first day, this is the value, you know, first minute, that is 9:30 a.m. when the market opened. This was the value of Apple. 9:31, this was the value of Apple. 9:32, this was the value, and so on. So I use 1 minute, assuming that news comes in also every minute. We get a new latest news. Okay, so that's why I use 1 minute. So here is where I tested my strategy. Okay, so I run this. Okay, so look at this. I have 18 trades that I made. Total of those trades that I won is 17 of them, and no losses. That means I still have one trade which is currently running. So because there are no losses, and this is win to loss ratio, so loss is 0. 17 divided by 0, of course, is infinity. I was able to make $472 from $10,000, which is roughly 4.72%. Not bad. And look at this. This is the summary. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I can make this. Okay, look at the summary. So I generated this trade records so that I see what happened. Okay, and you can see at 9:34 there was some good news. okay, about Tesla. So what did I do? I went long because I just entered. There was no, I didn't make any money. I just entered the trade, right? I didn't sell. And the entry price at that point was 186.80. Okay. I set my TP to be 186. Here I assume there is a leverage of 1 is to 100. So if you are trading, some brokers give you leverage, meaning that if you bring in $1, they can give you $100 to go and trade. Okay, if you bring in $10, they give you $1,000 so that they boost your profitability. So a small shift, because stocks don't move that much. So a small move is enough for you to have. If you have, let's say, a small move. When I did it before without leverage, just my money, I was making $4. But because I now multiply my earning by 100 because I'm using leverage, that $4 became $400. Okay, with the same amount of movement. However, if of course I had losing trades, I might not be able to make this amount. Okay, all right. So that's why leverage is used, but it is a double-edged sword. You know, it can go for you and go against you. And this day was an amazing day. You know, imagine having $10,000 and in one day you made 4%, just one single trading day. Amazing. And all you did was to just use sentiment analysis, get news, and based on the news sentiment, go into trade. And this is exactly what is happening. Maybe I should even put the headline. I think I will put the headline so that you will see the headline, then you see the action, because headline is good. It tells you the action, all the sentiment, and you see the profit, the entry price, the stop loss, and this thing. This was the current price. So I entered at 186.80, okay, which is the current price, of course. I said that, okay, once this price from 0.80, if it reaches 0.84 or above, I'm going to sell and get my profit. If it goes below from 0.80, it comes to down to 0.78. I'm going to sell and take my loss. So the next news came in around 6 minutes later. You see, 9:40. The next news came from 9:34 to 9:40. Okay. At this point, I exit the trade. This is what happened. I got out of the trade that I entered here. All right. So because I got out, of course, there is no entry price. That's why it says not a number. And I made $7 from this one single trade that I entered. All right. What was the price? 186.74. Okay. So I was happy. I made money because I went out of the trade. Okay. Here, I after like 1 minute, another news came in. Positive news. I went and bought again. Also, I made the same almost $7. Okay, from this because I exited. Then 1 minute later, I exit, made this money. 1 minute later, news came in, went in, made this money. You know, another minute, I went out. 1 minute. So, but here between this news and this news, uh, that's around 8 minutes before we get another news coming in. Okay, so we got another news coming in 8 minutes afterwards. That was good for us to exit or enter. Remember, we are monitoring every minute, but was the only time we saw. Okay, we were holding all those while. We were holding until after 8 minutes. So this means we held on to this trade for 8 long minutes. Okay, we didn't sell. We were holding. We were holding for 8 long minutes before our condition was satisfied. That made us went out and exit the trade, and we made around $62. That's amazing, right? Just one single trade because we were holding it for long. All right. So this one we held this one for 5 minutes. We made also $62. Okay. Wow, this one we held it on for 12 minutes. Okay, we didn't make as much as those ones though because there may be no much movement. Okay, the news here was not as overwhelmingly positive as the news previously in this one. Yeah, but regardless, we made $27 from this trade. Okay, so this is the strategy. You can see this is the record. You can have, of course, this is the result, but I needed and wanted to print out this so that you can see how things happened. This was what the robot was doing. I wasn't the one who sat there looking at each news article, coming up with the sentiment, and then deciding whether to buy or not. Everything was done by the robot on my behalf. And yeah, it made good returns. Of course, this is a good day for a trader. Good day to be had. All right. So this is a lab demonstration, and that's the end of the demo. Okay. So if you have any question, please go ahead and ask.